With that ding, that means we're live on WWE Raw Talks Live. I mean, it would be ridiculous if we weren't live. The show's called Raw Talks Live.
We could tape it on Tuesdays.
What the Dan-Dans may or may not know is the artist formerly known as Mike Charles, who usually sits right there, he's not here this week because he's got some shit going on. From what I hear, he's boycotted wrestling until WWE agrees to have a Pizza Boy match. I'm not really sure what that means, but those are his rules. Who am I to tell him what to do with his life? Now my phone's blowing up.
He's very picky with his matches.
So in place of my normal co-host, the artist formerly known as Mike Charles, we've got Sam Fricke in the room via Skype somewhere in Baltimore.
Somewhere on the outskirts of Baltimore. What's
it like in Baltimore right now?
Normal.
That's a change for you guys.
Not on fire.
Yeah. What was it like when it was on fire over there? Was it okay, or are you not a fan?
I'm like 20 minutes outside of Baltimore, so I was fine because I live with good people. But my buddy's fiance works downtown in a hospital, and there are buildings on fire.
Yeah.
But that's what happened when people are stupid boys.
Hey man, stupid boys are gonna do stupid things. But before we start talking about Raw, what we got to do is we got to do the official intro, because there is no Raw Talks without the official intro. So if you guys don't have your brown gloves ready, I mean, it's going to be a problem. It is something I'm going to hold against you, but don't worry. I have some brown gloves for you. You know what I'm trying to say here, Sam Fricke?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Hey, Mike, make sure everyone has brown gloves. Does everyone have brown gloves? Oh, dude.
That's my favorite part of the show every week, hands down.
Why is it your favorite part?
Because American Movie is one of my favorite movies of all time, and if you've never seen it, you really need to get your life and see that movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'll watch it just for that scene.
You've never seen American Movie? How old are you?
No, I haven't. I don't even know what it is.
How old are you?
24.
You're 24 and you've never seen American Movie. What kind of world do we live in? I know Baltimore's on fire, but you got video stores and the internet all over the place.
Dude, video stores haven't existed since like 2010.
I'm an old man. What do you want from me?
You're a little old man boy.
I'm an old man dad boy.
Bearded old man dad boy.
I am bearded. This thing is good. My dad told me to shave it off today. What do you think about that?
Fuck him.
Dude, he texted me some of the best things you've ever seen, like during Raw tonight. So I'm going to be chiming in with my dad's commentary during Raw. But that's the thing, is we're here to talk about Raw. This is Raw Talks Live, so let's talk about it. Sam Fricke, you got to tell me where we started off.
So we start, surprisingly, with an opening promo. Just not with Seth Rollins. It was the Authority. And literally all they did was talk about 4 matches at SummerSlam. And that's all they did.
So not only did we get this chair is so squeaky, I apologize, but it's really comfortable, and with no one else here, I have room to sit in it, so y'all gonna have to deal with the squeaks, you know what I'm saying? But okay, the couple notes that I wrote down for this intro was, the first thing I wrote was, this intro literally made me angry.
It didn't accomplish anything. Like, they talked about 4 matches. The only good part about it, and I'm finding it just for whatever reason hilarious, is Triple H's idle expressions whenever he's not talking and someone else is. If you look at him and look at the faces he makes, they're fucking great. But this opening segment, as usual, served less so purpose than what they normally have, which is normally setting up a match. It's frustrating doing it over and over and over again, just wasting 9 minutes until we get to the opening match.
What bothered me so much about it was, this is not an opener for Raw. This is literally beat for beat. This is the pre-show for SummerSlam. When the pre-show for SummerSlam comes on, you're not going to watch it, so it doesn't matter. You already watched it. They said, this is the match between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, and this is why it's big, and this is why it's important, and this is why you need to get on. Like, they did that for every match, and it was embarrassing because it literally felt like they were begging you to order this show.
It reminded me of what Todd Grisham and Josh Matthews used to do on like the pay-per-view channels before you ordered it.
The pre-show.
Run through every single match. They had the little vignettes playing and trying to sell the pay-per-view to you.
It was so annoying because they spent all this time in every one of these matches, and the way it came off to me was, who are they trying to convince that SummerSlam is this big of a deal? Because we recorded a podcast yesterday that's not going to go up until Wednesday, but the Dandans can hear us talk about SummerSlam in depth. Not in depth. We spent 30 minutes. We spent 30 minutes talking about wrestling, which includes a Marry Fuck Kill of Team PCB. And then because equality is really important to me, we did a Marry Fuck Kill for the New Day as well. So that's one of the highlights of the show. But they spend all this time telling you why SummerSlam is so important, where one day ago, myself, the artist, and yourself all said that we don't really give a shit about SummerSlam. So they're out here trying to convince us of how important this is because they know people are just kind of like, you know?
And the thing is, too, even with that whole mentality, we're still going to watch it.
Like, I'm going to watch it, no doubt.
Probably at 7 o'clock, watching the pre-show, eating some chips, scratching our Yovelas.
Yovelas?
Still Doritos. But the point is, I don't think they're going to. They've capped at who's going to watch it. They're not going to. SummerSlam is not going to be a blockbuster in terms of numbers.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they're really.
It came off really desperate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is they were begging you to order the show.
Yeah.
I want to take a real quick pause to just say thank you for all the Dandans that we have in the room right now. We got Jazz James in the room. We got Jace in the room at Jace Plays Games on Twitter. We got Rusty5147 in the room. These are all some brand new Dandans. I love these guys. Not all of them are brand new Dandans. You know, we got Coulter. We got Jazz James. I think it's going to be a good night here on Raw Talks Live.
I got to open up the chat. I've just been looking at Skype the whole time.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the chat. I can deal with that. But you know what's bigger than SummerSlam, and they made sure we knew it was bigger than SummerSlam. John fucking Stewart is way bigger than SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah. Even though he's a small boy, he's way bigger than SummerSlam.
Yeah. Steve Schneider says that Paul London is sitting behind him. I want to say hi to Paul London. You know what I'm saying?
What's Paul London doing other than sitting behind Steve Schneider?
He's doing wrestling classes. He's working the indies, still killing it, being handsome as fuck.
Cool.
Did you say cool?
Yeah.
There's
nothing wrong with that. That's just cool.
No, yeah, Paul London's a cool motherfucker. I'd like to meet that guy. But what we've been doing lately is we've been talking about the A story and then the B story rather than going throughout the whole show because most people don't give a shit about most of the show.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. We have a Burnout Inc. here in the chat is talking about the Marry Fuck Kill for the New Day. He wants to marry Xavier because he's getting his PhD and can buy him a big house. He wants to fuck Big E because he wouldn't have a choice, and he wants to kill Kofi.
Your reasoning is beyond fucked up.
Why? What do you mean? Why is that fucked up? I think he's got a good case there.
Because you're already giving into the fact that you're gonna get like rectally demolished.
No, he's gonna fuck Big E, so he's gonna be hopefully doing the big ending.
But the way it was worded, I can't see it. But the way you worded it was that he was already giving to the fact that Big E was gonna fuck him. So he's like, "Fine, I'll fuck you too."
Okay, maybe. Rusty5147 says his computer is messed up and he cannot see some YouTube videos, and my channel happens to be one of those channels. Rusty, I got to tell you, that bothers me a whole bunch because I'd love to have you here with us. You know what I'm saying?
Just listen, boy.
Well, I think what he does is he runs someone else's chat as well. So if he has some things to do, that's all right. I want to thank him for coming by. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah. Jace says, haha, beyond
on Twitter and active.
So if we're talking about what the A show is tonight, I think we're going with Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, or what the A story is tonight.
Yeah, A story throughout the night is Taker Lesnar.
Yeah.
B story is Cena Rollins.
Well, let's not talk about the B story. Let's talk about the A story, goddammit.
You want to talk about the A story first, or you want to build up to the A story?
We'll talk about the A story because that's the big shit. That's the money. That's what people want to hear about.
So I didn't like Undertaker's promos, like his little vignettes. I thought they were really cheesy, even for what the WWE is now.
Okay,
well, it really didn't do anything for me. I don't like this whole Reaper nickname. It comes across as very like fantasy video game-esque, and I don't think it fits. Came across like for what he needs to do, or for what he wants to fight Brock Lesnar man to man. Mm-hmm. I don't think he needs to be like the Phenom, the Undertaker. I think he needs to be more grounded in his approach and less like supernatural. I think he needs to come out like a fighter
Yeah.
He can get, in my opinion, he needed to come out as a fighter and as a man and less kind of floating around with purple lights. I'm not saying be the American badass again, but something in that vein.
So you're saying he can come out with the funeral music and he can come out wearing all black, but he should come out and be angry and say, "Get your ass out here because I'm going to beat you up," rather than "Get your ass out here so hell can shoot lightning up your asshole so I can bury you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it shouldn't be the Hounds of Hell baying for his soul.
Yeah.
It should be the Undertaker coming to kick the fuck out of Brock Lesnar and take his fucking pride and manhood away.
What I wrote down here for the Undertaker promo was, Taker never seems so bullshit except when he's against someone who is completely normal. It's when he's against someone who's completely normal, but especially when he's against someone who is not afraid of him, that he seems so bullshit. Like if you had Taker going off, or like going up against with Rollins right now, when like the dong would go off and the lights come back on, and Rollins is like in the corner, like, oh shit, he's like hugging his belt to him. If Rollins is out there selling the fact that Undertaker is so scary, then you're putting over the Undertaker big time. And it's just like, whoa, this guy is freaky as fuck. But when you've got him in this purple room with his goddamn funeral director hat on, saying all this bullshit, and then Paul Heyman just comes out and basically says, "Whatever, old man, we're going to murder you." It just makes all the theatrics seem like ridiculous.
They become redundant because you're going back to the point, which is two men fighting over pride and basically honor is what it is. It's what Undertaker's doing right now and how they're booking him leading up to this match, specifically for the reason they're having this match, isn't working. I think it's kind of killing the interest I have, and I'm not going to speak for the rest of the community because I don't have an insight into it right now, but if I had to guess, I'm thinking the feeling is the same way.
So what I'm going to do is disagree with you right there. Is we're sticking with the A story, which is Taker Lesnar. We're going to go to Jace says I had a 10 out of 10 Undertaker impression, and I got to say, you know what? I agree with you. I didn't know if it was a 10 out of 10, but I think it was the shooting the lightning bolts up the asshole that really put it over. Sticking with the A story, we closed the show tonight with Heyman in the ring with Lesnar. They're cutting a promo, putting over the match. Taker comes out. Paul Heyman, when Lesnar comes out, Paul Heyman singing that song, that's some GOAT material right there.
That was glorious.
That's some greatest all-time promo shit. When you do a top 10 promo a couple of years from now, and if you don't include Heyman singing that song, lose my number because I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Just a Heyman on his knees in his voice singing that, and what ices the cake on that is Lesnar's expression of just like laughing and smiling the whole damn time.
Did you say
he's
ISIS?
Not taking it seriously. He's just like walking around, soaking it all in. He's in his hometown. He's got this fat walrus on his knees singing to him and praising him, pretty much as Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he called him his like almighty
Lord. I've ever
Lord
seen in recent history on WWE TV.
Heyman really likes to take like religious, not even undertones, and add them into his promos. Anytime he's talking about Brock Lesnar, I feel like Heyman is in his hotel room, like flipping through his Bible, looking for a good line to steal and equate to Brock Lesnar, because he does it all the time.
And you know what Heyman's going to say on some podcast like 3 months from now is exactly that. He's like, I was sitting in the fucking Courtyard Marriott, and I was reading, and I found this passage. I said, no. It's exactly what's going to happen.
Local Sim just got mad at me because I called him Steve.
What's up, Fockle Quinn?
I love that boy. He's a great boy.
Disco Predator.
Yeah. Oh, dude. If you Dan Dans are not a part of 616 Disco, you really should be. You could be, but you should be as well. And all you need to do to join is change your Twitter name. You don't have to change your handle. You don't have to change your @ You just go on Twitter and you change your name to Disco and then insert monster here. The only thing you got to do is make sure you're not taking a monster that's used already. But hashtag 616 Disco is where it's at. It's what all the cool kids are doing, and that's all that's going to be going on in here. You know what I'm saying?
So going back to the show.
Yeah.
Undertaker,
hold on. I got to let my dog out of my room.
About 12 years was booed.
Yeah.
If not 13 years.
Yeah.
And he had heat tonight.
He did.
It wasn't like the Seth Rollins boo because he, went on the Twins or whatever, got a cheap heel pop. Like, he was getting rained down on him.
He certainly was.
It just continues to muddle the booking and how they're doing it. Is Taker supposed to be the face? Is Lesnar? What the hell's the storyline right now?
Here's the deal. What they need someone to be a heel. And the video just got a little muddled right there. I disappeared for a second because I had to let my dog out. But they need to build interest in this match. And what had me interested in it was, right off the bat, was the low blow. And then what lost some of my interest is the fact that they started to ignore the low blow and they didn't talk about it. It took Paul Heyman like 2 or 3 weeks to bring up the low blow. So I think them talking about the low blow, and not only that, but him doing it again tonight, that's what I was saying. I disagree with you earlier about all your interest is gone. My interest is back up because of the low blow and because this is not the Undertaker we were expecting. The whole time this has felt like it's going to be a WrestleMania 30 rematch. But when you take this Undertaker, he's the Ruthless Reaper or whatever, and he's going to pull this bullshit like low blows, he doesn't give a fuck because he's out for blood, to me that does make it interesting.
But I'm agreeing, but I'm disagreeing. I'm agreeing on the fact that it's cool. In theory, they're going in a different direction than what we've seen with The Undertaker in the past decade. But the way they're doing it is, for me, so discombobulated, and it's running on 2 different tracks. Yeah, the low blow stuff is cool. I'll do whatever it takes to win and get mine back.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I like it. I dig it. I dig the concept. But they're still having it come out in this purple gimmick light and fucking having the gong and the blackout stuff and still coming across as this Mark Undertaker.
That's who he is, though. It's too late to change anything about that.
It's that I'm still getting pissed off about it because it doesn't make it's from the start. It's pissed me off, and it's looking at it in hindsight. That's what's frustrating because they could have done it a lot better if they focused just on him being a man out for vengeance, not caring about how he goes about and doing it. You just have him as this guy fighting back for it, kicking Brock Lesnar in the dick, not caring how he's kicking his ass as long as he's doing it. That works for me. But I don't like how they're mixing the classic recent Undertaker gimmick of being the dead man with this guy with the vendetta. It's just not working for me.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because I've said that before. I think I said for Taker, Bray Wyatt. I said for Taker, the main one I said it for was actually Taker and Punk. Was if there was ever a time I wanted him to drop the dead man gimmick, it was for the Punk match, because to me that's the worst build-up, one of the worst build-ups for an Undertaker WrestleMania match of all time. There was no reason for Punk to face Taker. They literally had a fatal 4-way match on Raw, and the winner gets to face Undertaker. Why? Why the fuck would any of them want to face Undertaker? There was nobody at the time who was like, I'm going to take the streak away like Lesnar. It was literally just, fuck, what are we going to do? I have Punk win a 4-way. But I wanted Taker to drop the dead man gimmick then and get serious and just be like, I'm a man who wants to kill you. When Punk did the whole Paul Bearer dies and he took the urn and he poured the ashes on the Undertaker. To me, the next week you have the gong go off, Taker comes out, purple lights and fog. He gets in the ring and then he takes his hat off, he takes his jacket off, and he goes, listen, I'm not playing around anymore. When we get to WrestleMania, you are going to wish you never did that because you have no idea who you're dealing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, not to take anything away from the match itself, because On an Island was a great match, but
yeah, I don't think it was actually. But I
was there live, so it kind of boosted up for me.
You were there live for Punk Taker?
Yeah, I was at WrestleMania. I was at 29. My buddy got tickets.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
I've never been to a WrestleMania.
I've been to one.
Yeah, obviously 29.
But going back to the Ace show, or to the Ace storyline,
yeah,
the match will be okay. It's not at SummerSlam. It'll be. He does the spectacle storyline match well.
Yeah.
And Taker's not a guy. He's gonna go with him for 20 minutes and have it be a work rate type deal. It's gonna be based off of the story.
Yeah, they might go.
I'm just not anticipating it as I hoped that I would when Taker came back at Battleground. I'll leave like, and for what the motive behind the rematch is for, I'm not feeling it the way I want to.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Ricky Schmidt is in the chat. He says, anyone here know someone who snorted meat tenderizer? One of the things that I notice every time Lesnar and Undertaker are in the ring together is when Undertaker chokeslam Lesnar, Lesnar goes up. Like Lesnar flies for Undertaker. He knows who Undertaker is, and he's got major respect for him. He does everything he can to make Taker's chokeslam look like $1 million.
He's always been good at selling. He bumped for something a while back. I forget, but no, Lesnar's good in the ring. He's one of those guys you don't realize how good he is until he gets back in there.
Yeah.
But so I mean, the highlight obviously of the night. I mean, for the A storyline itself, the highlight is Heyman singing, but that might have been the highlight for the past 6 months of television.
Yeah, Heyman singing was that was a once in a lifetime moment. There, like, ever since I've come back to watching wrestling in 2011, because I stopped watching in 2008. Since I've come back, there's been several moments where I'm like, I am so glad that I saw this happen live and that I did not miss this moment.
Especially, no, go ahead. I agree. I mean, I took a hiatus too, but there have been moments like that a lot over the past 4 or 5 years, very sporadically. But still, I'm glad that they're happening.
What really made the finish to the show great was after Taker hits the chokeslam, Lesnar's getting up, and Taker does the whole throat slit thing, and he's setting up for the tombstone. There's still that part of you that wonders, is Lesnar going to counter the tombstone, nail the F5, we go into SummerSlam with Brock on top? There was that little moment there where you're kind of going, where are we going here? Then Taker nails the tombstone, and he's standing over Brock's corpse, basically, and Heyman is on the outside of the ring going, oh my God! Like, I
remember hearing Heyman screaming, oh my God.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wrote down was, if Lesnar suplexes Taker tonight, this place is going fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And he did it.
No, they can't give it away that easily.
No, but like it would have been great to see. For me, how I would have liked to see it booked was Taker to come out, kick Lesnar's ass, not just like a chokeslam and a tombstone, but like grab a chair or just start kicking the shit out of him. Lesnar makes a comeback, hits a suplex, cool. Place goes ape shit. Taker gets right back up after that and just continues to fucking crank him down.
Yeah.
And then finish like that. Tombstone, him walking away, crowd booing him. That works for me because you give the crowd their one pop. I'm just a mark for pops.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's how I would have liked to see it done. I mean, I guess it works tonight, but I agree with you. When he was pulling him up for the tombstone, I was expecting Brock to kind of float over and then go from there and hit the F5, but it didn't happen.
When I said soup bones, I threw some combinations at the camera there, and if Jazz James loves me, he's going to make a gif out of it because that's some gold shit right there. But yeah, Heyman on the outside of the ring screaming, oh my God, like that, this put the segment over the top for me, and I really enjoyed that. So for this to close out Raw, the way they did it, like, I have not given a shit about this match since they started to build it. But at this point, Taker coming out and kick him in the balls again. Like, I'm excited to see this match now. And I know I'm getting honey-dicked. They're honey-dicking me right into watching this match that I've already seen, getting excited for it all over again, and it might be a pile of shit. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? They might get me here. I might get honey-dicked, even though I know it's going to happen.
It's fine. Like, there's been worse booking, and there was worse stuff on the show tonight than The Undertaker's his whatever gimmick he has now. But I mean, I'll watch the match. I guess I'm looking forward to it. It's not like in my top 5 for SummerSlam of what I'm looking forward to, but it'll be fun. I mean, it'll be a fun match once you watch it.
I think it will too. I'm not against the match. Like, it's gonna go on last, and I think it kind of should because this is the one that's gotten the most build over the whole thing. But I don't know. I didn't give a shit about this match until after the way they closed out the show tonight.
I I haven't been on the point of not giving a shit.
Yeah.
Because it's Lesnar and he's arguably the biggest thing in sports right now.
Mm.
And there's always going to be that kind of anticipation for it. And I mean, everyone still kind of is an Undertaker mark, I think, at heart.
Yeah.
And you always have that bit. But like for me, they could have put it over the top with booking Undertaker differently.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't, and I'm going to live with it. And I'm going to do my best to not let that affect the match. But for me, the build-up hasn't been what it could have been in my eyes.
Steve Schneider has a question in the chat. He wants to know when Giant Gonzalez is coming back. Do you have an answer for that?
When 100 Brock Lesnar's beat 10 gorillas in a fight.
On the podcast that goes up Wednesday, it's episode 75 of the 616 Entertainment Podcast. Sam Fricke asked me who would win in a fight, 10 Silverback Gorillas or 100 Brock Lesnar's. And I think you, Dan, are really going to like the way I play out this fight because I booked the whole thing, and you're going to really enjoy it. It's towards the end of it, so you got to stick around. But one of the things that was really good about this closing segment was my dad's text messages. And he texted me before the thing started. Apparently they showed Bradshaw at some point, and my dad said, Bradshaw looks stoned, that dipshit smile he has. But then after,
like thinking about it, he does have a goofy fucking smile whenever like Byron Nicole's talking in the background.
Yeah, and he after the show ended, my dad texted me, "Why does he keep kicking him in the balls?" Which is just so goddamn funny.
That's an honest dad question.
It is. It's a straight up dad question. But I want to tell the Dan-Dans who are in the chat, first thing you got to do is you got to click that thumbs up button. You got to leave that like. If you're not subscribed yet, you got to subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Because we do this every week. We got 3 other shows that I'm not going to tell you about right now. Also, do what Steve Schneider's doing. Start putting some shit in that chat that me and Sam Fricke can talk about. You know what I'm saying?
And then make sure you retweet it via Facebook or post it on your Tinder profile. Snapchat, various, put it on your LinkedIn.
Hey man, I'm not against it.
No, I'm not.
So let's talk about the B story tonight, which is Seth Rollins and John Cena.
So where do you want to start? You want to start with Seth in the back, asking for his statue to be created in the front of the WWE lobby in Stamford, Connecticut?
I think that would be a perfect place to start. I
mean, it's fine. It's the same shit we've seen since he's been champ, which is him acting like Triple H and Stephanie's little kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's typical Rollins, champion Rollins, heel shit. Nothing out of the ordinary. Wasn't bad. Wasn't anything that I really paid too much attention to. But
there was part of me during this promo that had me wondering, is this does Seth have a bogus contract here? Is there going to be fine print that Cena doesn't know about? Because why is Seth all of a sudden going about this title for title? I'm going to put my stuff up against John. I know I can beat John. What's the deal here? Seth called out Cena. I know, he wants to make Triple H proud and whatnot because he's a boy and he wants to make his dad proud. But I don't know. I almost feel like there's got to be some fuckery going on here.
I can see it now that you mention it.
Cena wins, he raises both belts, and the next night on Raw, Seth is like, well, John, you signed that contract, and you should know that belt belongs to me,
I have an idea of I have an idea in my head that I created tonight of what the title match is going to look like at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And it's not going to involve a pin. We can talk about that later. I don't want to go on a tangent now, but we keep moving. We don't get anything from Rollins until the contract signing, which is fine. It comes out and promo. It's the same deal.
Mm-hmm.
It has its high points. Rollins I think he's still working on the mic. He's not the best. I'm a fan of his in the ring, but he could improve talking.
Yeah. Ricky Schmidt says in the chat, Seth is going to get DQ'd or some shit, leading to the return of Mongo McMichael.
Who's Mongo McMichael?
You don't remember Steve Mongo McMichael? He played for the Chicago Bears, and then he went into WCW. Him and Kevin Green. Kevin Green was dog shit. Mongo was dog shit too, but he did a tombstone for some reason. Goldberg beat him because Deborah McMichael had a suitcase. I don't fucking know.
Is that Coulter talking?
Is that who? What?
Is that Coulter talking right now?
WF Douglas 616?
Yeah.
He says, never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo. Jace at Jace Plays Games on Twitter. Y'all should follow him because I love that boy. He says Women's Revolution is B story. Cena Rollins is C. He does have a point there, but we've already committed to Cena and Rollins.
Yeah, we can talk about the Revolution later, but
we can and we will.
I mean, going back to the actual B storyline, I don't know how much you want to linger on Rollins' promo. He's literally done nothing different.
Yeah, fuck his promo.
Throughout his entire reign as champion, which is getting boring.
Yeah, fuck his promo. Let's talk about the contract signing. So Seth is in the ring with the Authority, and they're doing the contract signing for the title match to make it official. This is John Cena's big comeback because he's been gone for 2 weeks healing up his little nose. So Seth is out there cutting a promo, and he cuts a promo that's dog shit. He talks about John Cena is a disease and Seth Rollins is the cure. And it's just annoying, and it's unoriginal. We've seen Kevin Owens do this. We've seen Bray Wyatt do this. We've seen a million people do this. And then John Cena comes out and says, listen, a million people have said this. So many people have already taken the route that you're going right now. You're offering nothing original. And one of the things I loved, he goes, these people are saying, let's go Cena. These people are saying Cena sucks. Nobody gives a shit about you. Which deep down probably hurts Seth a little bit in real life.
It's not. The thing is, it's true.
Yeah, it is true, and that's why I'm saying it probably hurt him.
Cena did I think a fine job tonight.
Yeah,
working.
I thought Cena killed tonight with his promo.
Yeah, no, I tweeted about it. I think that was a consensus online.
Yeah.
But it's like he brought this like. Here's what I wrote down for it. Serious Cena is great Cena.
I agree.
Honest, serious Cena is fucking greatest of all time.
I would agree.
He brought it. He was intense. Got to his point. He didn't beat around the bush. There was no dick jokes or fruity pebble shit.
Yeah.
You know, he talked about the chants, but it was relevant. He didn't make fun of anyone or say, this is why I'm here. Like, he made it a point to attack Rollins. He was aggressive. He was on the offensive with his promo, which was great, and he didn't do it in a manner that we've seen in a while.
He did, yeah.
Like, just the way he ended it, he was like, you know, Triple H was Ric Flair's protege, but the difference was Triple H wasn't Ric Flair's bitch.
Yeah, I like that line.
SummerSlam, I'm gonna make you mine. Signed, done, out. No laughing, no jokes, no nothing. Just signed, done. Perfect. Perfect.
One of the things that stood out to me about this segment and this promo was the fact that people still in this day and age hating Cena just because it was the cool thing to do in 2006. It really puts, like, I know all the marks want to do that because it's just like, oh yeah, we hate Cena, that's what we do. But it really puts the heel in a weird position. Because Seth goes out there and he gets his heat because he's a fucking dickhead and everybody loves to hate him. But then he brings up John Cena, and people boo for Cena louder than they were booing for Seth. So now Seth is in this spot where he's making a threat to John Cena, but like people are behind him because they're going, yeah, you know what? Yeah, fuck that guy. We don't like that guy. It makes it really hard for the bad guy. That's what I'm saying.
It's not even tied to like Cena has started it and is at the epicenter of this problem, but it's expanding to the entire company, and we can talk about this later with Owens. If let's continue focusing on Cena Rollins, but like it's so difficult, I think, to work in a feud with Cena unless you're a babyface.
Yeah,
that's really the only way you're going to get over, because if you're a heel working him, like you said, you're going to get cheered by proxy. Unless you suck, and then nobody's going to give you a reaction. Even in the match, you're not going to hear "Let's go Cena, let's go Rollins."
Yeah,
it's going to be "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks."
Well, I
do think about Cena. Nobody else gets over.
I think there are certain cities where you would hear "Let's Go Rollins." I think you would hear "Let's Go Rollins" in Chicago. I think you would hear "Let's Go Rollins" in New York. But again, those are just like hot cities where the other guy's going to get love anyway. But what you said, real quick, what you said about you need to be a babyface facing Cena, I don't fully agree with that. I think you need to be a babyface or a cool heel. Because when you got a guy like Bray Wyatt or Kevin Owens, you will get people legitimately behind the heel rather than just hating Cena.
But that's not the point of a heel. A heel is to get the fans on the side of the face.
I'm just saying, dog, you said some bullshit and I had to correct you. You know what I'm saying?
How is this correction, though? You're wrong.
I don't think I'm wrong.
The point of the cool heel is to be funny, but to still have the fans rooting for the face, cheering for the face. The live crowd should be fully behind the face in a classic face-heel matchup.
No, what
a good heel doesn't get them on their side. We're on two completely different. I'm getting all fired up about different things.
Yeah, when I say cool heel, I don't mean a guy like a heel who has a cool character. I mean a heel who is an internet darling. That's what I mean. I mean he's a guy who people will get behind because they do like him and they do support him, whether he's facing the Brooklyn Brawler or John Cena. That's what I mean by a cool heel.
All right, fair enough. I appreciate the clarification. That makes more sense.
Jazz James says his sister texted him during the show and said, "Why does John Cena always dress like a fourth grader?"
He was rocking like the Miami Hurricane colors tonight. But
Burnout Inc. says, I seriously thought during Cena's promo when he brought up the fact that his gear was made months ago, he was going to rip it off and have new gear that says 16-time champ. That's so funny, man. Steve says he's with you, but the chat is behind. So give it a second for my point to get made, and then he'll decide that I'm the right boy and you're a wrong dad. I
don't have the chat loaded right now. I'm going to let it roll, and then I'll let you read the comments and trust that you're not tilting it.
Ricky Schmidt says that SummerSlam is in New York, so we'll see if I'm right about Let's Go Cena, Let's Go Rollins. But Ricky Schmidt says it's actually going to be Let's Go Cena, We Want Mongo.
Here's, on a more serious point, Raw was in your place in Chicago a couple weeks back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have Cena Cesaro as the main event.
And people loved it. They ate that shit up.
Were they going, let's go Cena Cesaro?
Yes.
Or were they going, let's go Cena sucks?
Let's go Cena Cesaro. But
I didn't catch the Raw. I didn't catch that Raw.
It's kind of not fair to judge it, though, because it is Chicago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's on a different level of smart. That's up there with Philly.
Yeah, Chicago's terrible. Especially when what was it? When did we go to Raw? Like a month ago? Let's say it was May that we went to Raw. And no, it was July. It's July of 2015, and there were CM Punk chants, and I wanted to break my neck and fall down the stairs like Peter Griffin.
Well, they're all Phil Brooks boys up in Chicago.
He doesn't work here anymore.
I know. I agree.
Then don't stick up for that dad.
He's a bad dad.
He's a bad dad disappointment. Ask the Coulter personality.
He's a slick hair dad.
Hey, man. He's a handsy dad, though. I'll give him that much.
Fair enough. But we got off point.
It's all right. I was over it.
Yeah, that's fine. So, Cena Rollins has the potential to be great at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about the finish. Because there are so many different ways of fucking wrong that they can go with this. And there's not a lot of right that they can do.
Yeah, but it's not our job to book it. You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
It's not our job to book it, though, so who gives a shit?
I'm just going to sit and watch.
And you know what I want to do is, it is one of the big four. So we're going to do a post-show for SummerSlam. I want all the Dan-ins to know that right now. There will be a SummerSlam Talks Live. And if we can get some weird bullshit going on here, if all goes according to plan, I would like it to be me and the artist formerly known as Mike Charles. I would like to Skype in Sam Fricke and Steve Schneider. So if we can make that happen, it's going to be an all-star show.
A fatal four-way.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Ricky Schmidt says he wants to go to TNA Bound for Glory and chant for AJ Styles, which is hilarious because it's the exact equivalent of chanting for Punk nowadays. So let's go to the other B story because, as Jace pointed out, you could easily call
the C story. Let's just call it the C story.
We'll call it the third story.
Okay.
Which is the Divas Revolution.
What
do you mean,
That's it. That's my reaction.
To quote Nigel Bravo, get fucked.
He's fat.
He's fat.
So you get Becky, Tamina.
Yeah.
Becky, I like Becky. I think she's solid in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
She does that fun little kick. Michael Cole pissed me off calling this match.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember she hits that springboard kick, and he goes, "What a move by Becky!" And she gets up on the top. Becky off the top. Call the fucking kicks. It's a springboard kick and a missile drop kick. That's all you have to say.
No, I think if you read those the notes that came out about
I did.
The McMahon dates, as a guy I work with, he came up with that term and told me to use it as my own. The McMahon dates point out that don't be specific. Just call it a move.
Yeah.
So he's just doing what he gets paid to do. But as far as Becky and Tamina goes, I thought it was pretty okay, which surprised me. Not because Becky had a good match, but because, in my opinion, and I hate talking shit on wrestlers, you know what I mean? Because I got love and respect for all of them. But I think Tamina is fucking garbage. But
she's not the best.
I think she's awful.
She's bad.
Like, all she's good for, really, is picking somebody up and slamming them down. And you can make a joke generalization and be like, well, isn't that what wrestling is? But if you get into the nitty-gritty and you're being serious, not fucking really. But I do like Becky. I think she's good. But the last note that I wrote down for this match is Becky is good, but I don't fucking care. Like, Becky is the one girl who's come up that I just don't care about her. Like, I think I'm a huge fan of Sasha, who we'll talk about in a minute. I'm a big fan of Charlotte, who we'll talk about fucking now. I don't know. But Becky, I just have no connection to her whatsoever.
I feel different. I dig Becky. I feel more interested in her and what she's doing as opposed to Charlotte.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a Sasha Banks boy.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like, no questions asked.
I agree.
Like, hands to the sky. Like, tell my mother about it. But for Charlotte doesn't, I don't know. They both need to work on their charisma.
Yeah.
They're not the best.
Wait, who did you say?
I respect Charlotte. She's good in the ring. She's athletic. She's talented. I'm not taking away anything from her. But, like, when I see her wrestle as opposed to Becky, I'd rather watch a Becky Lynch match than a Charlotte match.
I disagree about that. Jace has given the eyes in the chat saying he doesn't fully agree with what we're talking about. Jace, be a little more specific so I can address what you're saying. But
don't be a vague boy. Don't
be what?
Don't be a vague boy.
Yeah, don't be a vague boy. Be a specific dad. Burnout says maybe Becky came up too soon. We all want Bayley to come up ASAP because we've seen her in NXT for so long. What do you think about that?
We?
Huh?
Who's we?
He's saying we, the collective wrestling fans.
I don't.
You don't want Bayley to come up?
I'm a Bayley fan. I don't think she's going to translate. It's a different story. I think she's going to fall into like the same that. Yeah, like the whole I'm a hugger thing isn't going to work at the next level. It's for my opinion, I think it does.
Yeah, well, it might. We'd have to see.
She's talented, but like it's a different story.
Yeah.
Different conversation.
Jazz James says the revolution would be much cooler if they didn't have to remind us that it's a revolution every 10 seconds on commentary. And that's just one of the things that's going to happen when you watch WWE's product week to week is you can tell by the way that they format their show that every week they are producing a show as if no one has ever seen it. That's why they need to keep reminding you who Brock Lesnar is and his accolades. What the fuck is an allocade? It's
an alligator.
I broke my neck again. Every week it's a show as if no one has ever seen it before. So that's part of the problem there. Ricky Schmidt says, unrelated, but hey, Ian, when are you going to have me and Coulter on the podcast so we can use our material from our previous rap battles and have real battle? Never, because no one gives a shit about your rap battle. I'd like to have you on the podcast, Ricky, but I'd like to talk to you as a person, not some bullshit rap battle. So Jace is saying he was making the eyes about Becky being more interesting than Charlotte.
She is.
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to have to disagree on that.
See, this is where now we're going to have to Skype in Jace at some point so he can give his opinion on the Divas Takeover, Divas Revolution, whatever.
Okay.
He says, Jace also says that he thinks they made a mistake by bringing up all three at once and putting two of them in one group.
I agree with that. I dig that. I don't think they handled the debut well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with Steph kind of shoehorning it in and announcing everyone.
Yeah.
That's hindsight. That's long and gone.
Yeah.
But I'm just waiting once they get out of this whole stable bullshit and they start letting them going as single wrestlers, and Nikki drops the title to Sasha, which better fucking happen.
I would love for that to happen.
And then all of a sudden you start getting Becky Sasha, Becky Charlotte Sasha, Charlotte Sasha, Paige Sasha. That works for me. Just let those four go. That's all you need. You don't need anyone else in the division. Just let those four wrestle, and it's fine.
I think you need more people in the division. Burnout Inc. says when the entire arena is chanting, "We want Bayley," he thinks he got something. And Steve Schneider says he's going to be a daddy.
He's going to be a daddy or a dad?
I don't know. He says he's going to be a daddy.
Congrats.
I think he's full of shit.
Is he a shit boy?
He's not a shit boy, but sometimes he's a dishonest dad.
I don't know.
I pitched an angle on the podcast a long time ago that I think a lot of people would they would do the whole "I'm never watching wrestling again, fuck this show," and then the next week they come back and they watch it again and they talk about it online.
That's what happens with every single piece of episodic television in the history of fucking forever.
Especially with wrestling. But my angle that I pitched was, I would love to do something down the line where you've got someone like Seth Rollins, who is the World Heavyweight Champion, and he comes out there and he's talking about how, like, there's not, because he cheats all the time and he's bullshit, and because of his lackeys, no one can get a win on him. He gets out in the ring and he talks about how, like, there's not a man in this company who can put my shoulders to the mat and take this belt away from me. John Cena tried, Ryback tried, Bray Wyatt tried, Roman Reigns tried. Nobody can do it. And that's where, and I'm going to lose a lot of people here, Charlotte comes out and says, "Oh yeah, there's not a man in this company who can beat you? You might be right." And Seth Rollins goes, "And what, you're going to? A woman is going to come out here and beat me?" And then she fucking does. She becomes the World Heavyweight Champion, first female to ever do it. And I think you've got a huge angle there that's going to get covered by like a million news outlets. It's going to get eyes on the product. And I think you got a great story right there. I think that shit writes itself.
We talked about this on I think episode 51 of the podcast.
Yeah, I knew I pitched it to someone, but I don't remember
that was us.
how it got over.
About that. I don't want to get into another long conversation about that, but it could happen.
Yeah.
I'll leave it. It could happen.
I would love for it to happen.
I don't think, but to be completely honest, I don't ever think, and this is nothing against the women's division or women athletes, unless somehow Ronda Rousey winds up in the WWE, that there will ever be a women's WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
I know I would love to see it happen. Ricky Schmidt says, "Oh God, Ian's booking AIW." I don't know what that means. I don't follow them. Maybe they did something like that. But I think if you do it on a grand scale with WWE and you have someone like Charlotte who is talented, who comes from a bloodline of wrestling, I think you've got a great story there. And I think there's going to be a lot of little girls who love that. And it's like
a lot of little boys.
A lot of little boys too. And I'm not just pigeonholing it to just women, but if you look at just business-wise with what I'm pitching here, the NFL is basically doing the same shit. They realize that they've topped out with their male fan base. That's why, and I know there's a breast cancer thing, but they wear the pink jerseys, they got pink gloves, they have Katy Perry doing the halftime show. They want women to watch football and buy the pink jersey so more women are watching, because they know more women watching is more money. You know, them reaching out to the females like that that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
It's what they're doing now is they're reaching and trying to capitalize on the kid audience and the female audience. It's what their business model is, what it has been for the last 5 years, and it's what it's going to continue to be.
Yeah.
Could I see it happening? Fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think there's ever a chance it will not happen? No, I think it's in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Leave it like that.
Steve Schneider says a man versus a woman will never happen in a PG environment. I think it could. I'm not saying you would have Lana in the ring and then Ziggler comes in and hits her with a zigzag out of nowhere. I'm not talking about blindsiding a woman. I'm saying it's a man versus a woman in a sanctioned one-on-one fight, and the woman wins. I think you can easily put that on a PG show. Have you ever seen like the Justice League cartoon? Wonder Woman fights Lex Luthor all the time.
You build it up. I mean, it's the woman making the challenge too. If Rollins is out there, or whoever.
And it's empowering. It's not like her back is against the wall. She comes out believing in herself and comes out on top.
You can even have her win. I mean, no, I think you don't have her win a match against another male. I don't know if you want to have her pin a male wrestler before winning the title.
No, she doesn't even have a match against them. She doesn't even have a match against a male. This is her first one, and that's why Seth is so like despondent. That's the wrong word. But that's why he disregards her so quickly. It's just like this weak little woman is going to get in the ring with me, but she doesn't pin him. She submits him, which makes her look even better and makes women look even stronger as a whole.
I like that.
Steve says it will also diminish the women's division, which I disagree with big time. He says he'll explain it next time he's on the podcast. So I know what he's trying to say, and Steve, tell me if I'm wrong and I'm putting words in your mouth. I think what he's trying to say is it would make the women's division look weak if a woman would said, I want the man's belt. But it's not that she wants the man's belt. It's that there's someone out there running his mouth, and she, as a competitor who doesn't need to be labeled one way or the other, comes out and says, I'm better than you, man. Like, and I'm going to prove it right now.
And then she does.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
We got off track.
That's my angle, and Ricky doesn't like it. AIW, whatever the hell that means. But real quick, Burnout says he had the same thought, and he's with me on the Charlotte becoming the first woman to hold the championship angle. So he says Charlotte curb stomps Rollins, the arena and the internet explodes. Jace says it could not happen.
It could happen, but it won't.
Yeah. I'm just fantasy booking, which is something I hate doing, but then I just did it for 10 minutes on the show. But it's my show, so I don't give a fuck.
It's a show for the people.
So if we're sticking with the B/C story here, we covered Becky Tamina, which was pretty good. Becky goes over clean with the armbar gimmick that she does.
The Disarmor, which is a fun name.
It's a cool name. I like that name. So now we got Sasha versus Nikki. How'd you feel about this match?
I was expecting more, to be honest.
Pause real quick, because Steve just came in. Says AIW does men versus women shows, and he hates it. Ricky Schmidt says it's terrible. I don't know if he's talking about my angle or the AIW shows.
Or both.
I'm not talking about a men versus women show. I'm talking about you do one match and Charlotte wins. And then when you do the rematch, you either get freaky with it and Charlotte wins again, maybe quicker, or Seth Rollins pulls some bullshit and he wins and then it's over. But you had that one
win clean and just crush hope.
Yeah, you had that one moment.
That's a real thing that can happen. It doesn't need to be some wonky, like he lost the cheat to win. Yeah. Bullshit. You can just pin her clean.
Ricky Schmidt wants me to fantasy book Sakuraba versus Charlotte, but I'm not allowed to do that because Sakuraba cannot lose to pro wrestlers. He knows I'm just fucking with him. It's a thing from 616entertainment.proboards.com where you should be a member, Sam Fricky.
No, we had a conversation about that last night. I don't think I'm going to join.
Yeah, Dan's, if you're a member of the board, listen to the upcoming podcast because I bring up the board real quick. And it's a thing, you know what I mean? But
it's a piece of conversation.
So we got Sasha versus Nikki here.
So going back to the match, Nikki is one of the fucking sloppiest wrestlers, I think, on the roster right now. That kick, where she tried to springboard off and hit like an enziguri, and I think just fucking whiffed. Looked awful.
Hey, man.
Looked fucking terrible.
She's out there.
Once something like that happens, like, I'm gone. Attention's out.
Yeah.
At that point, like, the humor side kicks in for me, and I'm like, all right, well, I can't take this seriously. Like, Sasha is one of the best performers on the roster right now, bar none. Mm-hmm. Like, man, woman, Hornswoggle, whatever. Like she's
Wait, is he not a man or a woman? He's some species in between.
he's a leprechaun.
Yeah, okay. But I missed one of my dad's texts from earlier where it was about Seth Rollins when he was in the ring cutting his promo. My dad says, "Someone needs to kill this douchebag." Yes.
I like
So,
the yes at the end.
My dad hates Ronda Rousey and he calls her beer belly. I've talked about it on the podcast. So I texted him and said, "Who do you hate more, Rollins or beer belly?" And he says, "Equal."
The one word dad text.
Yeah. But he said something about Tamina in here somewhere. I don't remember where the fuck
While
it is.
you're looking for that, it's one thing that really pissed me off too is so the finish is fine.
Mhm.
Perfect for what it was. Match aside. But
Yeah.
like they're going through it, they're doing the normal announcing shit. Nobody once mentions that the NXT Women's Champion just pinned relatively clean the Divas Champion.
Well, they're not
Nobody
giving.
mentions it at all.
They're not
all
giving.
talking about PCB and whatever, and nobody mentions that Sasha just pinned Nikki Bella.
Well, you notice that Sasha didn't even have the belt, did she?
No, she's never had it.
Yeah, that's
She
the
just
thing.
brought it up. It's
They're-
so dumb.
They're not drawing a lot of attention to the fact that Sasha has the NXT belt. They mention it here or there, but I think they're keeping it kind of low key because Sasha's probably going to drop it at TakeOver, and they don't want this new girl that they're pushing to just lose her belt and then come out next week and be like, "It's okay." You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
They're
makes
going to have
sense.
her drop it. That's why they're keeping it low key.
That's that. I mean, and that works.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it was like this NXT girl just pinned or submitted, whatever. I think she had her tap out. The WWE Divas champ. Like this is totally in kayfabe because nobody gives a shit about Nikki Bella's champion.
Mm-mm.
But like within the kayfabe world of wrestling or WWE, that's a huge fucking deal because this relative rookie just pinned or fucking beat their champion.
Yeah.
And nobody mentions it.
No.
It's like it's an afterthought, and it's just stupid. It's awful. It's bad storytelling. It's lazy storytelling.
I don't think it's an afterthought because, yeah, you know what? I guess I'm already going to disagree with what I was going to say because I was going to say the people who are watching know what we just saw. But if they're going to go out of their way to tell you every week shit you already know, why are they not telling some important shit right here? So I have no excuse for them. It was bullshit. They need to get better.
Done deal.
I love Sasha's move in the corner where she sets you up and does that knee crusher thing to the stomach.
Oh,
That's one of my favorite moves right now in the whole business.
I agree. It's so fun to watch. And Nikki, I'll give her credit on that. Sold it
Mm-hmm.
pretty well tonight with the way she kind of like caved in
Yeah.
and hit.
Well, I
It's-
think
that's a
it
cool
caved
move.
in because Sasha probably tells you, like, get ready. Like, I'm going to fuck you up with this.
Yeah.
Jay says they announced tonight's match was champion versus champion, and they did sell it as Divas versus Women's Champion.
We were talking about the finish, not like the build-up. to
Okay.
it.
But I do appreciate Jay's pointing that out right there. Can we
I-
talk about the fact that this was the lead-in to the main event and how fucking cool that is?
It was really the main event if
It-
we're talking from a wrestling standpoint.
It was the main event. It just wasn't the closer.
Exactly.
So I looked at the clock and it was 9:50 Central Time, and I'm going, Lesnar is obviously going to come out and close the show, and we'll get a little bit more heat before SummerSlam for Taker Lesnar. But these girls are going on late, and this is fucking cool.
And I mean, it makes sense because I mean, from all technicalities, it is a champion versus champion match, and it should have a little bit of prestige. You would think if you looked at the card and had to pick one match, which would be the last match, you would pick the tag team match that they had to open.
Yeah.
But it makes sense the order that they had it.
Fuck no, I don't want that tag match as the closer.
No, I mean, we don't even need to talk about it because nothing happened.
Burnout says that the stomach crusher in the corner, whatever it's called, is an awesome move, and it can be done to two chicks at once, and he loves it. I agree. One thing I want to point out was they did like the belly to back roll, like bounce off the ropes, roll up into an electric chair, and I thought that was really cool.
Nikki hit her with the electric chair, right?
Yeah, but the way that they went from that roll up into the electric chair, they did it pretty smooth. It could have been a little smoother, but that's just nitpicking. But that was fucking I was into that move, man. And it's probably been done a million times. I don't know. I don't watch every indie show, but that's the first time I've ever seen it, and I thought it was cool as hell.
It was it reminded me of the one combination that Rollins had when versus Cena when he suplexed him off the top rope, then immediately went right into the Falcon Arrow.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Back-to-back stuff like that.
And that's one of those moves that's going to piss off all the people who are marks but think they're smarks, who go online and just talk about like, oh man, way to make the superplex look dumb. You just pop right back up and do a move. It's a show. You know what I mean?
Depending on how you sell it, any move is going to be as strong or as weak as the performance going on in the ring and what the story is dictating at that point in the match.
Yeah, I agree.
End of discussion.
Apparently, I don't know who. Remember that kid that was on that one show who was like, apparently?
What?
That little kid who kept saying apparently over and over, and he got fucking huge. I don't know why I just thought that little ass wave. Anyway, I saw on Twitter, I think Coulter retweeted it, that this Divas match was going on, basically the main event of the show, and I had the fan on in my room, which was kind of loud, so the commentary was a little hard to hear because my dog's afraid of thunderstorms. But I couldn't really hear it. But were there "We Want Lesnar" chants during this match?
I couldn't hear.
I couldn't hear.
There might have been. Like I couldn't hear anything to the point where I was distracted.
I think any boner who was in that building saying "Let's go Lesnar," you need to get your life and you need to show some respect to some chicks who are out there fucking bringing it down.
It pisses me off because it's always the Divas match that gets shit on, and sometimes they deserve it because the matches suck. But like
sometimes, not so much anymore.
No, it wasn't a good match by any means, but it wasn't bad. It was underwhelming, but like all things considered, it was still it's fine.
Yeah,
it's not a match worthy of having bullshit chants like that taken away from it.
Yo, so we're going long as hell.
You want to wrap up?
No, let's cover the rest of the show, but we'll go speed style. Let's talk about the Rusev. I'm not going to call it the Rusev Ziggler angle because it's not. It's the Rusev Lana angle.
Yeah.
Jace confirms that there were "We Want Lesnar" chants, and all those people need to show some respect. You know what I'm saying? But
we're just special boys.
So we have Rusev versus Henry again. That's fine. Nobody gives a shit. Henry does 2 Oklahoma slams that were pretty cool looking, very impressive because Rusev is huge. So Lana says earlier on commentary she has a plan. Rusev makes Henry tap out. Lana gets in the ring and shouts at Summer to get in the ring. And Rusev, instead of being like, no, we're heels, we don't have time for this, he goes, yeah, go ahead. Go beat the shit out of her. Like, I love that Russian part of him that's just like, fuck it. You're under 5'5". She don't want to fuck with you. That's a reference from the podcast.
Rusev has been great.
Yeah, he has. I love him.
Rusev's been fucking awesome. And then, so we just continuing the recap. So we get both of them in there. Lana slaps the piss out of Summer Rae.
It was so good.
She fucking gets her.
What was weird was Lana's voice was so high pitched. When she was in the ring shouting at Summer, it sounded like Lana was saying, Lana! Like she was shouting her own name at Summer. I don't think that's what was happening, but that's what it sounded like. Ricky Schmidt says about the Divas real quick, they've conditioned the fans not to care about the women. It's going to take a long time to educate them to take it seriously. Jace is not happy. Ricky says they spent years trying to convince people it was just a tits and ass piss break. And Jazz says he was going to say the same thing. But you know what's funny about that is the Divas match when we went to Raw, the artist and I hung out and we watched it. But then when Roman Reigns versus Sheamus came on, we went and got pizza. So, and then I made a video of it for Twitter of me going, you know why this sucks? Because it's a Sheamus match. And the artist goes, let's get food. And we legit left. Fuck Sheamus. The artist is the Sheamus and Sheamus is the bloatist. So.
Bloatus isn't as bad as Sheamus.
No, I'm just burying him.
He's a buried boy. So, and then we got Rusev in there. You feel like he's supposedly going to kick Lana's ass. Mm-hmm. The one thing that ruined this segment for me was Lana peeking around. Yeah, I feel like they missed a cue.
No, well, yeah, what I wrote down in all caps was, what the fuck was that delay?
Yeah, it was bad.
Like I was waiting for the music to hit, and there is that thing where you like cook the crowd, you know, let it simmer, let it get to a boil before you hit the music for Ziggler to come out. But they waited so long, and Lana started doing the like, is he gonna, and
Because
she did it for like
pretty much
5
on the
whole
rope.
seconds.
Yeah, from a TV perspective, it was like, all right, here comes Ziggler, here it comes, all right, it's fine. I don't know. Ziggler got a huge pop.
Dude, Ziggler got a huge
Massive.
pop, and part of something that I was kind of like gonna be kind of cringy about. It would have been cringy if it happened. I never use that word, so it sounds weird coming out of my mouth. But is if they were like cooking Ziggler's music, waiting for the right time to hit it, and nobody realized that it was gonna be Ziggler because nobody gives a shit. But there was a fucking healthy Ziggler before the music hit, and then when he came out, the crowd exploded, and it was huge. Ziggler hits the super kick. Lana does a jumping switch kick, which was fucking awesome. And then they kiss, and the crowd goes wild.
What I was going to say is Ziggler's music is perfect for that
boom
turn or that out of nowhere, like just the way it hits like pretty fast and pretty hard, and it's very distinctive.
Yeah.
It's perfect for pops.
I was actually kind of expecting it when Rusev locked in the accolade on Henry. I was kind of waiting for the music to hit, but the way they did it was better. But like Henry's not going to be friends with Ziggler anymore. It's just like, what the fuck, man? You were here and you didn't come out.
Hey, man.
Wait, what was that?
Nothing.
Wait, was that your Mark Henry? Let me hear it again.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ricky Schmidt says he wants to see Rusev versus Fedor at WrestleMania 32.
Versus who?
Fedor Emelianenko?
I don't know who that is.
You're not an MMA boy.
I'm not.
You're a football dad.
I'm a sweatpants football dad.
Jace says, whoa, leave Sheamus alone. He's your future champion. And when he becomes my future champion, I will, because fuck Sheamus. Sheamus bores the shit out of me. Is he pretty good in the ring? Yeah, no doubt. Like, I don't hate the guy as a wrestler, but I don't want to watch him. He bores me to tears.
Sheamus is the Sheamus of wrestling.
Yeah, he definitely is. Ricky Schmidt. Go ahead, sorry.
And that's it. We get a little promo with Ziggler and Lana afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's nothing spectacular. Ziggler's all fired up. Cool. We add the fucking 10th match to the SummerSlam card now.
Yeah. Well, it's 4 hours, man. They got a lot of room to fill.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna bump to the pre-show. I think a tag match, probably.
The tag title match?
Yeah.
How dare you? That's not going to happen.
I'm just being honest based off of like past experience with what they bumped.
I can't let that happen because the New Day the New Day are going to win the titles back, and it should not be on the pre-shoot. Don't get it twisted.
I disagree.
Mm-hmm. Coulter says, "Fuck Sheamus." I want to point out to the Dan-Ins real quick. We didn't do a Raw Talks last week because I have a big gaping hole in my throat, and it left me unable to speak for like a week. But this shit right here, called Chloraseptic Throat Spray, it immediately numbs the inside of your mouth. And I can't believe I didn't know about this shit sooner. They don't sponsor us, but they should. This shit is a fucking lifesaver. I'm just going to put that out there. Because
I'm glad you got your uvula solved or healed, whatever it's called.
You have a lot of trouble with that word.
I can't pronounce it.
Uvula.
Uvula.
There you go. That wasn't bad. Give me it one more time. Now say
pronunciation boy tonight.
Now say uvula as Mark Henry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you brought up the tag match. Jay says New Day rocks. New Day rocks, and he's not wrong. The New Day is the best part of Raw, no doubt. So let's talk about this tag match.
It lasted too quick. I honestly kind of got distracted, and I hear Xavier Woods screeching at Torito, and I turned, and he's getting held back, and the bull's getting held back. Then all of a sudden, the match is over.
I wrote down PTP and then a whole bunch of question marks, and my notes were, what the fuck, and New Day. because I don't even know what this match was.
No, it's like New Day's out, or primetime players are out there fucking shucking and jiving or whatever they're doing. Then all of a sudden, 4 other teams pop out. New Day gets a big pop because they're over as shit. And then you get like a 2-minute match where the main focus is on Xavier Woods and the Bull.
But the New Day comes out and they cut a really fun promo. Steve Schneider wants more attention. Then he should say more entertaining stuff because he's always a great chat boy. Give us great chat boy things to say. You know what I mean? Jazz says he didn't kill the chat this week. That's a good job. But the New Day comes out and they cut this promo. And Big E is on fire like he always is. Just being Big E. Oh, doing this voice. And that hurt a whole bunch. But I fucking love the New Day. And the misdirection, the simple misdirection that Xavier used when it came to him, he said something about like, he did a word that rhymes with rocks. And he closed it with, because New Day, and why do we have to? And he went into this whole other thing, and the other guys were just like, whoa, what are you doing? Like you had one line. And he's like, guys, I got a little worked up. I can't help it. It's just not fair. I love the New Day. I fucking love the New Day. I said it before.
They become one of the part. Like they used to be something I would cringe at.
Yeah.
In the winter, it's like, all right, here comes this racist, fucking PG era nation domination. And now they're one of the like top 3 things I look forward to every week.
There's a really small podcast that Dan should check out. It's called, I can't even remember the name of it. It's called, I think it's Talk is Jericho. And recently, the New Day were on there as guests. And Jericho's podcast can be really hard to listen to because he's such a salesman. And I'm getting off track. Listen to it for the New Day. Because you'll learn some shit about where those characters came from, where all 3 of those guys came from, and it's really good. And you can tell that they're all friends in real life. I love that episode a lot, so they should watch it.
I haven't seen it yet.
You should. You can't see it; it's audio only. But New Day wins the tag titles at SummerSlam. Calling it right now.
I'm not disagreeing.
You shouldn't because you'd be wrong. So let's talk about this. What's up?
What else? I mean, we got the Cosmic King, Barrett.
Yeah. We've
got Harper versus Reigns, which seems like for fucking ever.
Let's talk about the opening tag match.
I mean, it was same old stuff we've seen however many times.
Yeah, I wrote Orton and Cesaro versus Sheamus and Kevin Owens, and what I wrote down is Cesaro and Owens are facing off at SummerSlam, which is a match I'm excited for that show, and exactly. Orton is facing off with Sheamus. So the note I wrote down was, this is a match I'm really into, plus the exact opposite.
No, it's 2 completely different work rates.
Yeah.
It's Cesaro, Orton, and Owens are fine.
Yeah.
Sheamus, not so much.
Jace says that Kofi's vertical clap is the best, and I'm not going to argue with it because it's up there with Big E's dance. But my dad texted me when this tag match started and said, this should just be Orton versus Sheamus, which I disagree with. I said, I'm a big fan of Cesaro and Owens, so I'm glad they're out there. Right after they cut to commercial, my dad texted me, my dad texted me, that fat fuck can't even lift his knee to throw a knee to the head. So my dad was not a big fan of Kevin Owens, it seems.
There was this sign that said, like, eat Owens eat or fat Owens fat in the crowd tonight. I forgot which one it was, but one of those two, and I kept on looking at it.
That's bullshit, because I love the fact that Owens looks the way he does. Get more variety, please. More variety.
He's like the epitome of, if someone from the IWC or some form learned how to wrestle, that would be Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
If like someone just got off of their desk chair and like trained for 5 years,
yeah,
but still maintained the same weight and like facial hair, that would be Kevin Owens.
I thought this match was not really good. I thought it was good. I wrote down ugly Cesaro botch, ugly RKO botch. What the fuck happened in the last 10 seconds of this match?
Yeah, the finish was sloppy. You had Cesaro trying to do his rebound thing. Owens tried to help by like grabbing his foot a little too late,
Yeah.
which is fine. Then he gets kicked in the face, and then someone botches the RKO. I don't know who. And then Orton falls down. He RKOs Cesaro, and then off camera Owens gets pulled out of the ring. I don't know what the fuck happened.
The whole thing was just very disjointed. It felt like maybe the referee told him, guys, you have 10 seconds. Like, you need to wrap this up right now.
I blame it on Sheamus.
Yeah, fuck Sheamus.
It's probably his fault.
So, Jace in the chat says, does Sheamus versus Orton open SummerSlam? And I say no, because Orton-Sheamus is going to be a very slow match with a lot of holds, and that's not how you want to open the show. You want to open the show high energy.
I think they opened with Cesaro Owens.
I think they open with the tag title match.
On the pre-show.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be pre-show.
What do you think's on the pre-show?
I don't know. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to watch it.
Oh, I'll watch it.
For the Dan-Ans who are in the chat right now, if you haven't clicked that like button and that subscribe button, that's some shit you should really be taking care of. You know what I mean? So we got Roman versus Harper, and we're winding down towards the end of the show. Dan-Dans, we've already gone long. We can't go over long. You know what I'm saying? So if you have other unrelated shit you want us to talk about, we can answer a couple questions before we go and just have a little mini podcast here. What do you think?
I'll take it. I'm down.
So we got Roman versus Harper. Dan-Dans, load up the chat with some questions. Anything you want us to talk about. Doesn't have to be wrestling. In fact, make it not wrestling. So Roman versus Harper, we got Dean on commentary. Bray Wyatt's out there just keeping an eye on things. And Dean is fucking old school. You can tell this is a guy who is a huge wrestling fan, and he didn't do the one thing that is like my biggest pet peeve. His opponent at the pay-per-view was in the ring, and he handled it perfectly. He put over his opponent. You need to put over your opponent. He's talking about how, like, oh yeah, he's huge. Like, and then Harper slams Roman. He goes, he's got no problem picking up a 300-pounder like that and just slamming it. He's a very dangerous guy. Anyone who's ever been involved with the Wyatts, they're all very dangerous. And Roman and I know that. You got to put over your opponent, because if your opponent beats you, you just lost to a guy who you said is a loser. You know what I mean?
No, it's simple psychology. I think Mick Foley talks about it in his first book, and it's always resonating with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you want to lose to this old washed up has been, or this old grizzled vet?
Exactly.
Because there are two ways you can take it, and you can look good losing to the grizzled vet, or you can look like a jackass losing to this washed up has been.
Exactly. And if you're the heel, that's okay to say, oh, he's a has-been. You know what? He's not a has-been. He never was. And then you lose because you're the bad guy. You're supposed to look like a jackass. But if you're the good guy and you lose to this guy who you said is a washed-up has-been, now you just look like a dink. You know what I mean?
You're not even a boy.
No, you're a straight-up dink dad, not even dad, boy dink.
All kinds of fucked up.
And the stuff that he was saying to me came off as super old school when they were talking about, you guys are going to war with the Wyatts. And Dean was just like, we are going to war. And win or lose at SummerSlam, this war might not ever end. Because I can't stand these guys. I can't stand anything about them. What they stand for, I hate them. You know, he took it from just being like, well, yeah, he's my opponent. Why would I not dislike him? He took it to that personal place of, I don't like this guy as a man. And if I've got a breath in my body, it's going to be to put him down. You know what I mean?
It works at a primal level because it's they just want to fight.
Yes.
Because they don't like each other. It's such a simple build, and they don't need to overdo it, and they have it. It's like,
that's why this tag match build is better than the Roman versus Bray build, because the Roman Bray build was the same bullshit that we've gotten of, oh, I'm coming out and you don't know what I'm talking about, and as a matter of fact, nobody does. But just know I don't like you. And then there's a match and nobody knows what the fuck is going on. This feud right here, this tag feud, is just about, yo, fuck those guys. They're dicks. You know?
I agree. I agree.
Harper hit Roman.
Why do they always make poor Byron stand up?
Because fuck Byron. He sucks.
Fuck Byron. He's like the new Spanish announce table just for standing up.
Byron is the Sheamus of commentary.
He's not the best commentary voice.
He's not the best. He's not the worst. But I tell you what, he's not that good. I would prefer Renee Young on commentary, but that's just me.
Renee's a cutie pie.
Renee is a cutie patootie. She's talented, and I I like the female voice in the commentary booth. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be a good change of pace.
Yeah. And she comes off like she knows what she's talking about, which I appreciate. Because there's times where like even King will come off like he has no fucking idea what's going on.
Well, King never has any idea what's going on.
One of my favorite King moments of all time is, and the artist and I talk about this on the podcast almost every episode, is just when Kane took his mask off and JR goes, "Is that even a human?" And then there's a pause and King just goes, "Ah!" That's one of the best moments in the history of professional wrestling. Like, he's been staring at him for a solid 5 seconds, but it just got scary right there. It was probably because he was looking at him thinking, oh, this is dog shit. And then someone in the headphones was just like, King? And his reaction was just, ah! Jay says that this whole thing is just a ruse to set up an Ambrose heel turn, and we talk about that on the podcast. So Jace, Wednesday, when episode 75 of the 616 Entertainment Podcast with Sam Fricke goes live, you're going to have to listen to us talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I think we've covered the whole show here.
We have.
This was a long Raw talk, so we went a little bit long. Nobody really gave us anything to talk about, so maybe we should just get the fuck out of here.
Maybe we should.
Jazz wants us to talk about the podcast, but what do you mean talk about?
Jazz, wait fucking literally like 36 hours.
Yeah, like what do you mean talk about the podcast? The 616 Entertainment Podcast is the show that I do with the artist formerly known as Mike Charles. It goes up every Wednesday. Oh, that's actually the perfect pitch ever. Jazz James is brilliant. I broke the news on the podcast. It doesn't go live till Wednesday, but I'll just break it right now for the Dan-Nans who are with us. The ball is rolling, and we are almost to completion. The podcast is going to be on iTunes real soon, probably in like a week, because I was talking to a best friend from the old Kind of Funny community, name of Zyger, and he messaged me because I had Kind of Funny, their guy Kevin. I had him on the podcast, and he was a fucking awesome guy, and I posted it over on their forum. A lot of positive feedback. Did like 800 views, which is huge for the 616 fucking podcast. I mean, that's ridiculous. And Zyger was like, dude, if you need help getting on iTunes, just let me know and I'll help you. So I messaged him on Facebook, and true to his word, he helped me out like this. So all the episodes are on SoundCloud right now. I have them all private because what I'm going to do is they're in a fucked up order. I need to put them in the right order, and then I'm going to figure out how to do the linking to send it over to podcast or send it over to iTunes. So you Dan-Nans don't have to worry about having YouTube on in your fucking pocket or watching it at work anymore. The podcast will be on iTunes. So that's happening very soon. Jazz James helped me big time with that pitch. And Jace is marking out for Zyger. Zyger's the fucking man. That's all I got to say. And Jace is the fucking man for hanging out with us all night here. I hope Jace comes back next week.
I hope he does too.
So I think that brings us to the end of the show. Sam Fricke, where can we follow you on Twitter?
You can follow me, Disco Wolfman, at Fricke316.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be heating up because football season is coming around.
So if you're a football dad with sweatpants, follow at Fricke316.
Please do. Be interactive. I follow back. I'm not a douchebag. I like talking. It's about the interaction.
Follow me on Twitter at IDS616, a.k.a. Disco Dracula. Join hashtag 616disco. You know the fucking rules. You've been here with us all night. We do this show every Monday live right after Raw. The 616 Entertainment Podcast goes up every Wednesday. We do a Let's Play series every Friday. And I've one of the things I've done with that is I like to play a lot of obscure games, because my thing is there are games out there that everybody and their brother has done a Let's Play for. So I want to do games that no one's done a Let's Play for. The thing is, nobody fucking watches those. So I'm going to correct that. We're going to start playing some games people give a shit about. And that'll be that with that. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
But do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean now.
Oh. See, you're on board with me.
I'll watch.
Dan-Dans, we love you. We're going to see you next week. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Coulter is calling for the brown gloves. We're not going to get brown gloves this week. We're going to get a brand new outro I've never used from American Movie. Sam Fricke, get your shit together. Watch American Movie. We love you, Dan Dance.
Stay safe.
That's a wicked ass toenail, dude. Whoa, that toenail's more than a quarter inch thick.
I know.
That's a science photo.
Science photo?
Yeah, they can use that in science class.
Science class?
All right, Bill, I think you're done here.